Siri once again surprises me. So we had the conversation, or she had the channeling about how sacred feet are to horses and why we need to be gentle and careful. And then I asked if she would put her halter on, which she didn't want to do. So I said, okay, well, we'll just put it around your neck. And I stopped focusing on the halter. And I kind of started focusing more on the conversation I had with her last week, where she asked me to not put the halter over her face. She allowed for it to be put around her neck. And then, kind of said, well, let's see how we do from here. And that was really surprising because, everything is always about get the halter on the face, get the halter on the face. So at one point, as I had left the halter kind of like around her neck and I had the lead rope, I had asked her if it was okay for me to start, letting the lead rope swing and touch her legs. And so we did that for a little bit. And there was a bucket that I had brought inside the pen with us. It was filled with a couple of brushes and another lead rope. And I just decided to sit down on it. I wanted a different perspective of this experience with her. I wanted to know how does she feel if I'm sitting at sitting or crouching level to her, and how does she feel about her legs? How does she feel about the experience? And I actually also wanted to see how I felt about the experience. And something started to take place that I wasn't exactly expecting. I know that she and I have been slowly and beautifully building trust together. And what I experienced was that this just took that trust to a whole nother level. And it was the two things. It was the, okay, I'll trust you. Maybe we don't exactly need to do this with the halter on your face. Maybe I don't need to control you. And one of the things that kept coming up for me to keep sharing with her is that I'm not trying to control her, and I'm not trying to take away her freedom. I'm asking her if she would be willing to collaborate with me so we, she and I, could take the best care of her. And I kept sharing with her, moment after moment, I am not trying to take away your freedom. I am seeing if we can collaborate here and do this together, not have her feel like I was doing this to her. When I went to then go sit down on the top of this small bucket, I think it really, really surprised me how peaceful I felt. I'm not saying I would have closed my eyes and gone to sleep. Maybe not that peaceful. But I just felt relaxed enough that I could trust that I needed to show her that the farrier is going to be down at this level near your legs. And before it happens, I want to at least do my best to condition you, to show you what's going to happen so that you don't have to have a fear and you don't have to overreact. So that was really mind-blowing for me because you never know. and Siri could kick at any time. And so as I sat there and I just gently, I had my hand maybe like 5 inches off of her leg, and then I took the lead rope and we'd put it between her legs. So I could run the lead rope now up and down her legs without her stamping or kicking. Not really kicking, but like pawing her foot forward. And as that completed itself and I sat down on the bucket and I was like, hey, the farrier is going to be around here, so I need to be able to touch your leg. I need you to know that your leg is going to be touched. And I want to make it as, as non-event, as uneventful as possible. But it was really fascinating to me today because as I kept dropping into the level of trust in myself, what I started to notice was Siri was more trusting. When George and I were talking today earlier, I said, what could I be doing better? And he mentioned, find kind of like the sweet spot on the horse where they like and can feel safe with you petting them and it feels comforting to them. And I think I found that with Siri today. It was under her chin. And so we would do a little something. Maybe I would run the lead rope through her legs and then we'd go to the chin petting, no treats. We did treats to be able to establish her feeling safe enough to come over to me so I can work with her. But I'm not giving her treats or rewards for us working together. I'm working more with praise and patting and scratching, where she likes it. And so, I think the biggest surprise for me, it's like, okay, if I sit down on this bucket, is it going to spook her? Is it going to scare her? Is she going to want to, kick or bite? Is she going to feel threatened? And she didn't. She just stood. And although she didn't, fully let me sit there with my hand on her leg, I think the biggest takeaway was that she really started to realize that I'm doing my best to walk that fine line between asking for her collaboration and not taking away her freedom. She can still move away. She can still walk away. I didn't even have the halter on her face today, but she was still willing to stand. And there were numerous moments when she walked away. But then I asked her if she would stop and she would stand. And again, it's such a subtle exchange of energies with this wild mare. It reminds me of, when you first learn to drive a stick shift car. And at first it's kind of like jerky and weird and you're, poor passengers getting thrown around a little bit because we're like trying to figure out what we're doing, and with the wild horse, it's like trying to be cautious, right? No biting, no kicking. That's a prevalent one for me. But then all of a sudden, things start to get so subtle when you start to get in the field of chi. And when you get into the Wu Wei aspect of this, it's such a subtlety because it's so soft. Just the softest, simplest thing, allows us to connect. And the softest, subtle thing can disconnect us. But staying in that field of softness and subtlety with her, our true essence to essence connection feels like it's deepening. We're learning to trust each other more, and that is just such a beautiful feeling. It's just so beautiful.